Hello everyone, welcome back to another video and another of my trees I have not shown on another video before, namely one of the jade trees in my collection. I have shown actually a plant that came from the same pot as this one in a video not too long ago. I will link that in the description, on which I worked very much on the style of the tree. And today we actually planned something similar. So I want to give you a quick overview of this tree, how it is right now, what are the plans for it, and then we work a little bit on the structure and on the style of this tree. Because right now, as you can see, this is not a bonsai, this is basically a shrub. It is a nice looking shrub, of course, a healthy looking shrub, but we don't want a shrub here. We want to turn this in the long term into a bonsai, and that is the goal for today, to take the first initial steps and measures to really put it on its way on becoming a bonsai. So let me talk a little bit about it and give you a quick overview by simply also showing you the different angles of this tree. It is, as I said, a jade tree, also known as crassula. It is one of those varieties that has this very elongated, rounded leaves, often called Shrek ear also, because they do look a bit like that. So in my opinion, a very fitting form for bonsai, because the foliage is so dense and also comes in quite nice and small here, so it almost looks like a needle tree somehow. It's very nice looking and very healthy, so I'm definitely at a point where I can say we can work on this, and that's what we're going to do today. So I want to style this already a little bit to give it a bit more structure, so in the future when we take it out of the very deep pot it is in right now, that we can then also already have a nice starting point to work further on it developing it into a bonsai. Two things we have on this tree is, of course, this main trunk and main branch right here, and then this little side branch coming off here. I would not take this side branch off right away. We might do it in the future. What I do want to correct right away is the growth here, because it grows basically inward, and that is something that we of course don't want. If one branch grows into another branch and then it just gets crowded and messy. So that is something I will correct right away by using my concave cutter, holding on to this part here, of course, also, and taking out this chunk here. We will have a lot of potential propagation pieces today, and definitely some of them will land in soil later on and be propagated, because I always do enjoy propagating my succulents. So this already opened up a nice part here. It also shows us a better look at this little side branch coming out here, actually, that we'll see if we keep it on. For the moment, probably yes. And then we can move a bit further up on the tree. And I can see another problem here could be the taper here is not being that nicely developed as I probably would like to have it. Here it's a very thick part where also this branch here came out, so it led to the branch here also becoming thicker, especially then again here we have it bifurcating, and that does not look that good on the tree, to be honest. So how do we best correct this? We might make sure it doesn't get more pronounced by taking out one of those two growth points, and again I would take the one in the middle here to help us with overcrowding in here again. So let me just take out this leaf to get a better view on this, and then I would say we can go in here and take out this branch right here. Again, opening up the tree quite nicely. We left a leaf on here. I will quickly switch to my scissors to also clean up the wound here a little bit and take out this leaf still. So that already opens it up. We can see here we have a potential nice side branch coming along then here, developing here the apex in the future. Doesn't look too crowded at the moment. I like the little branch down here, but I don't think we need this little leaf on this side. It's just a bit out of place here. Again here, on one hand it looks nice, on the other hand it is actually growing inward here. But as we have not defined it, if we will leave this trunk on this tree anyway in the long term, I'm not going to take out this foliage here, because if we have this as a separate tree one day, then this could actually be a nice feature, or especially the one here in the back. Let's look at it from the other side to also get an idea on how it looks from here. And here that you can see how really pronounced here this taper problem is a little bit. So I will definitely have to keep an eye on that in the future to see, will the taper be okay, or will we actually have the chance of inverse taper happening here? But I think with taking out the branch, we probably caught it in time to not have to worry about it too much. Here, I think some of those really old, bigger leaves we just take out to get a clearer view on the tree, and if there's still something that needs to be done. Of course, when we look at the tips, that is always something we can still do. Encourage ramification by taking out some of those tips. Also on this side, I would say we can take it out. And of course, also on this little side branch here, we simply go in and take that out. So here, and I think that already brings us to a nice looking tree. So what are my goals for the future? I already told you, I will keep it in this pot here, in this deep pot, for probably at least another year. When I repotted it, there was not a lot of root mass on this tree, I must say. So this is also why I had to bury it quite deeply in here, because I feel like it was buried quite deeply when I got it. And in that case, I decided again to bury it that deeply because we had some roots here. And I'm not sure if at one point I might not even cut the tree here and start new, because with succulents you can do that. You can simply, for example, cut it right here, propagate this part up here and grow new roots, and you basically have a completely new tree from this part right here. So that is definitely an option, and it probably will be the case with this little side branch here. In case we keep it that deeply covered in soil, then it makes sense to actually take off this branch right here. In case we keep it on, I would say the trunk line is probably still 5-6 centimeters underneath the soil here. However, the taper again there wasn't that good, so we might actually really start from a higher part up here and work on that in the future. Right now, the goal is, of course, for it to simply develop a healthy root system, for the tree to grow healthily. So I will let this grow out now for at least over cold season, actually, until next summer or next spring. See then how far it has come along since then, and then decide in which direction to further take it. We see here it is still crowded. We have growth that comes from here, goes into the side branch. So we definitely will need to work on this in the future still. However, I still want to keep the options a little bit more open with this one. In the other video where I worked on this, basically its twin tree, I went quite heavily already trying to turn it into a literati style tree, which for that tree fit nicely, and it was quite an obvious route to go with that tree. With this tree, I don't find anything that obvious, to be honest, so I'm not quite sure yet in which direction we want to take it. So I will simply wait for this tree to develop a little bit further and then give me more of an indication in which direction to take it actually makes sense. But for today, I think with the pruning, that is enough. Of course, as this tree is very thick and the foliage is very dense, wiring in this case is not an option. On other succulents like Portularia afra, for example, of course you can wire, it can work on newer branches. However, here with this very dense foliage, I wouldn't see how to fit wire in here without damaging the tree, and with it also then adhering and helping us shape it. So our way of shaping this tree is of clipping it back and directional pruning, so hoping then that the growth will directly or go in the direction in which we want it to by pruning in that direction. But other than that, I would simply let this grow as free and widely as possible right now. If you have a vision for this tree and in which direction you would take that, let me know in the comments. I would really be interested in seeing that. I will keep you updated on this tree and you will see it as soon as I decide to work on it again, of course, in another video. And until then, simply take care.